everyone. My name is Courtney Murphy, and I'm the Director of Community Health at Prevent Blindness Wisconsin. And today, we're going to go over the basics of an adult vision screening. Prevent Blindness Wisconsin is a nonprofit organization located in downtown Milwaukee, but we do service the entire state of Wisconsin with preventative vision health services. These services range from vision screenings, vision health education, and navigation on how to access further vision care for clients. When facilitating adult vision screenings, it's really important to let the client know that your vision screening, it is just a vision screening that day. This is not an eye exam, and it does not replace an eye exam for them. Really what we're doing is we're identifying at-risk individuals for a possible vision problem and referring them to further vision care. If you are a certified vision screener with Prevent Blindness Wisconsin, your vision screening certification is valid for 3 years. After 3 years, we do ask you to recertify as protocol may have adjusted a little bit and new studies come out. To begin with the adult vision screening process, every client is going to fill out our vision health attitudes and accessibility form. As you can see on this form, you as the vision screener can read them the questions and fill it out for them, or the client can take a moment and fill these questions out as well. The first step that we're going to do is they're going to answer, or we can ask them questions listed in block 1 of that form. This really is a moment for us to capture data when it comes to the client's thoughts on vision health and preventative vision health habits. After block 1 is filled out, the client is then going to answer questions listed in block 2. Block 2 focuses on children's vision health. So what does the client think about children's preventative vision health habits? We really want to look at it through a generational lens. After block 1 and block 2 are completed, we're then going to proceed on to having the client sign the statement of screening form. This paragraph describes that the vision screening that they are going to undergo with you is just that. It's a vision screening. It is not an eye exam, and in this process, we are not diagnosing or coming up with a treatment plan for them. After the client signs the statement of screening, we're then going to proceed on to the registration form. On the registration form, we do want that client to fill out name, address, phone number, their date of birth, and if they have vision insurance or not. If someone is not comfortable with giving their address, we just ask for that phone number for a point of contact if we do need to follow up with them after their vision screening occurs. There is also a section where we do ask for them to fill out their race and ethnicity. And then below that, you will see the vision health risk assessment for adults. This section is extremely important for an adult to fill out because about 98% of adults that answer questions on the risk assessment do not pass. So they're going to answer yes or no to questions 1 through 10 on the risk assessment. After the client answers the questions on the vision health risk assessment, as a certified vision screener, I'm going to ask you to pause here. I want you to take a moment and really look at the answers on their risk assessment, because the risk assessment can serve as an adult vision screening alone. Really, when it comes to our referral rates, a lot of it has to do with adults not passing the vision health risk assessment. So you can refer a client based solely off of their answers on that risk assessment. Criteria for passing the risk assessment. If a client answers yes to question number 4, they're going to be an automatic referral. Number 4 states that the client has noticed a change in vision in the last 12 months. If they answer yes to question number 10, which states if they have diabetes, it's been more than a year since their dilated eye exam, that would also be an automatic referral as well. Additionally, if a client answers yes to 2 or more questions on the risk assessment, say for example they answer yes to question number 1, they have blood relatives with glaucoma, and question number 4, they noticed a change in vision in the last 12 months, we would refer them to further vision care based off of those answers as well. It's kind of a double whammy there. They answered yes to 2 or more, and they answered yes to an automatic referral question. There are 2 optional components to the adult vision screening as well, testing the adult's near acuity and their distance acuity. However, if you want to refer based solely off of risk assessment answers, you can as a certified vision screener. If you choose to proceed on with testing an adult's near and distance acuity, we do want to ask the adult if they wear prescription glasses. If they wear bifocals or if they just wear reading glasses, we do want to document that on their registration form. We do want them to wear their set prescription glasses if they're reading for the near acuity vision screening section, if they are bifocals or to see for distance, to wear them during the distance acuity screening as well. If the client does not have their glasses with them, we would vision screen them as normal. Next, we're going to get into how do we vision screen adults' visual acuity. First, we're going to get into how do we vision screen an adult's near acuity. When we vision screen an adult's near acuity, we want to make sure if the adult wears reading glasses or if they wear prescription glasses to see up close, that they do have those on during the vision screening if they have them with them that day. To vision screen an adult's near acuity, we use our near acuity chart. This is a handheld chart that the client will hold during the vision screening. You can see on one end of the chart there is a string. This string measures 16 inches from the chart up to the client's eye. We always vision screen the right eye first for adults and then proceed to the left eye for both near and distance acuity. There are 2 sides to this chart. To make sure we are on the correct side for the right eye, we want to look for the Z at the very top on the left-hand side. You will see on the other side of the chart, there is a Z up here, but it's not on the very end or on the left-hand side either. Once we are on the correct side of the chart, what we are going to do is we are going to have the client set this up where they are holding the chart with one hand, and in the opposite hand, they are going to hold that string. We want to make sure it's nice and tight, because if they start to do this, it's not going to be that accurate screening we need to test their near acuity. To occlude the eye during the screening, we do use an occluder paddle. We want to make sure the section that sticks out on the paddle is facing the client's face. We do recommend they hold the paddle horizontal. So these are going to be 2 different components that the client is going to hold in one hand together. They're going to cover their left eye string tight, and we are going to proceed with vision screening the right eye. With the right eye, we are going to tell them to start with this letter here, which is the Z, and proceed down this column for us. As the certified vision screener in front of you, we do recommend having our near vision screening cheat sheet. It's a way for you to follow along with each letter as they work their way down the chart, so you don't have to crane over and see what that letter is they're trying to identify. So you're going to follow along with the right eye column, starting with the Z, and as they begin to go down that column, you can follow them on that cheat sheet. As the client identifies letters down that column, as they get each letter correct on each line, if they are able to make it down to the 2040 line, you will see on the cheat sheet in front of you, the 2040 line is highlighted across. You're going to stop them on that 2040 line, and you're going to take them across. They must identify 3 out of 5 letters correct on that 2040 line to be considered passing in the right eye. As they're working their way down the chart, though, say, for example, they get stuck on the first C on the 2250 line. If they identify that as not a C, you're going to take them across down that line, make sure they can get the majority correct before you move them down a line on the chart. If they can't get the majority correct on that line, you'll move them up a line and take them across. Whatever line they can get 3 out of 5 letters correct on is going to be their visual acuity score for that right eye. On the near chart, you will see on the right-hand side here, it does list out the acuity scores. They're a little bit harder to see, so that's why we do recommend having the cheat sheet in front of you as you screen the client. Once we are done with the right eye, we're going to proceed with the left eye, the same process. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the chart over. To make sure we're on the correct side for the left eye, we want to look for the V at the very end on the top on the right-hand side of the chart now. So the right eye was the Z on the left-hand side at the very top. The left eye now is going to be the V on the right-hand side on the very top. And you'll see on your cheat sheet, it starts with that V, and you're going to start with that. And the client is going to now read down the column starting with V. So what we're going to do is we are going to cover the right eye, holding the string with the occluder paddle. Now you will see it does cross over onto this chart. If the client adjusts the string enough, they should be able to see the chart clearly. We're then going to instruct them to please start with V and read down this column for us. If they get down to the 2040 line, we're going to have them stop and read across, and they must identify 3 out of the 5 letters correct on that line to be considered passing in the left eye. As they're working their way down, say for example, they may snag up, we're going to have them go across on that line, see if they can get the majority. If they can get the majority, we'll move them down a line. If they cannot, you will move them up a line. Passing for the near acuity vision screening, an adult must have 20/40 in the right eye and 20/40 as a visual acuity score in the left eye. You will document this down under the near acuity section on the registration form for the right and left eye, and check the box if they wore reading glasses or prescription lenses as well. Next, we're going to get into how do we vision screen for adults' distance acuity. When we vision screen for an adult's distance acuity, we use the Sloan wall chart. When we set up the Sloan wall chart, we want to identify a wall that's nice, clear, brightly lit, and uncluttered. We do want to hang the wall chart eye level for adults. So if you have someone that's maybe a little bit taller or a little bit shorter, please feel free to move the wall chart up or down during the vision screening. From the wall chart, we want to measure out 10 feet. For distance acuity, this is going to be a 10-foot testing distance for adults. We're going to put a strip of masking tape down to measure that 10-foot marker. And as the adult comes up to the vision screening line, they're going to stand with their heels on that 10-foot line. We now have the adult vision screening line set up for distance acuity. If they wear glasses to see distance, we do want them to wear them during this section of the vision screening. To occlude the left eye, we do use an occluder paddle. On the end of the paddle, there is a section that does stick out. We want that facing the client's face. We do want them to hold the occluder paddle horizontal, covering the eye completely. If they wear glasses, we want to cover over the glasses and not underneath. We're now going to vision screen the client's right eye. You as the screener are then going to go up to the Sloan wall chart, and you are going to point to letters on the chart during the vision screening. One side of the chart does have letters. However, if someone is not comfortable with letters, we can flip the chart over and use the side that has the optotypes or symbols instead. When pointing to letters or the optotypes on the wall chart, we do need to use a pointer or the back of a pen. We just can't use our finger because as we get down to the passing line for adults, it's easy to cover up those letters. To begin the process for the right eye, the screener is going to choose any letter they want on this top line. I like to give enough space beneath the letter and the pointer because if you go up near it, on top of it, it can look like a completely different letter you're pointing to. They're going to identify the first letter you point to. If they get that correct, you're going to move down a line. If they get the next letter you point to correct, you're going to keep moving them down a line. You're going to continue this process until they get down to the 20/40 line. The 20/40 line is the passing line for adults. On the 20/40 line, you're going to stop and you're going to take them across on this line. They must identify the majority of letters on this line correctly, 3 out of 5, to be considered passing in that right eye. For example, though, if someone does not get the first letter you point to correct as you're working your way down the chart, what do? You're going to take them across on this line to make sure they can identify the majority correct. If they can, you're going to move them down a line. If they can get that first letter correct as you work your way down, keep moving them down to that 20/40 line. Whatever line they can get the majority on is going to be their visual acuity score. For example, if you do get down to 20/40 with adults, but they can't identify 3 out of 5 correct, you're going to move them up a line and take them across. The one thing to note when pointing to letters on the chart, we do encourage you to bounce around with letters up here. However, there are 2 funnels as we get down to the passing line for adults. With the right eye, we do want to stick to this right funnel here because as the certified vision screener and with the client, it's just an easier process when we get down to that passing line. Same thing for the left eye then. Bounce around up here throughout the chart, but just stick to the left funnel here when it comes to that 20/40 line. If the client is not comfortable with identifying letters, we can move the chart to the back side and they can identify the symbols or optotypes instead. The passing line with the symbols is going to be 20/40 still. We're going to work our way down the chart, 1 symbol per line down to the 20/40 line, and they must identify 3 out of the 5 symbols correct on this line, 20/40, to be considered passing in that right eye. After we complete the vision screening process with the right eye, we're going to take that same process and vision screen the left eye. So the client will take the occluder paddle and they'll cover their right eye completely, and we will vision screen the left eye. With vision screening the left eye, it's going to be 1 letter per line as they get them correct. Stick to this left funnel here, and you're going to take them across on that 20/40 line, and they must identify 3 out of 5 letters on the 20/40 line to be considered passing in the left eye. When documenting their acuity scores, we want to document what is listed over on the right-hand side of the Sloan wall chart. For example, you'll see it states 2100 for the top line here, 2063, 2040. On the left-hand side, we have 1040, 1016. We always want to document what's on the right-hand side of the chart. Even if we're working over here with the left eye, we want to follow that over to see what that acuity score is. You will see on the registration form there is a section under distance acuity to mark the client's visual acuity scores down. And there is also a box to check if they wore glasses during the process. After each adult goes through their vision screening with the charts, we do want to wipe down the handheld chart itself, as well as the occluder paddle for both the near and the distance acuity fully with an alcohol wipe to make sure it's set for your next client to be vision screened. The last section of the adult vision screening is the exit interview. And this is one of the most important sections of the vision screening because it gives you an opportunity to go over the client's vision screening results and their next steps to vision care if they are referred. First, we want to look at the client's risk assessment questions and review any that they answered yes to with them. It really is an educational moment for you as the certified vision screener to work with that client and educate them on why those questions would be risk factors for them. With passing the risk assessment, they cannot have answered yes to one or both automatic referral questions, which is going to be question number 4 and question number 10, or they cannot have answered yes to 2 or more questions on that risk assessment. After we go over the risk assessment questions, We're going to go over their visual acuity scores with them if we screen their near and distance acuity. For an adult to be considered passing in their visual acuity for near and distance, they must have a visual acuity score of 20/40 in both the right and the left eye for both screenings to be considered passing. For example, if the client has an acuity score for near acuity of 20/40 in the right eye but 20/63 in the left eye, they would be a referral based off of their near visual acuity scores. Anything above 20/40, we would refer them on for further vision care. For a client to pass their vision screening, they must pass the risk assessment. If the client does not pass their risk assessment, we would check the risk factor box at the bottom of the registration form. And if they did not pass the visual acuity screening section, we would check the visual acuity box as well at the bottom. Both boxes may be checked, or it may just be risk factors and or visual acuity for them based off of their vision screening results. We want to ask the client questions on Block 3 and have them answer those completely. You will notice on the form there is a section called Block 4. Block 4 is designated for after a client gets to vision care, contacting them and seeing what their thoughts are on vision health and the entire vision screening process after they go through and access care. After the exit interview section on the bottom of the registration form is filled out, this is a chance for you to regroup with the client on their next steps. If the client is referred, we do want to encourage them to seek care from an eye care professional. If the client has any further follow-up questions, if you can't answer them, please feel free to refer them to Prevent Blindness Wisconsin and or the partner that they may be working with as well. Before the client leaves the vision screening, please ensure that Block 1, 2, and 3 are filled out entirely. We need to make sure the statement of screening is signed and agreed to, and that the registration form is filled out completely as well. You as the certified vision screener will keep those forms, and the only form the client will leave with is that results form that you filled out for them. Prevent Blindness Wisconsin wants to thank you for volunteering your time to assist with vision screenings in your community. 66% of Wisconsin adults have some type of visual impairment or eye disease that they are living with. Together, by providing these preventative vision health services, we are ensuring adults can see clearly and are contributing to their quality of life.